Hello. Thank you for watching. If you have followers that are going to be teaching the Constitution Day or live in America, then you might want to share. Hello. I'm trying to keep it, my idea of a crash course is like a bazillion ideas in 5 minutes. So I'm trying to keep it calm. I actually have, like, I had to make a whole separate notebook just for Constitution last year. I have that many ideas. Have all my stuff in binders. Thank you. I love Canva. I can play with Canva all day. Alrighty. I am Andrea Reynolds, and I am a former classroom teacher turned social studies whisperer. I want to be the Bill Nye for social studies, and I say I'm igniting a revolution to bring American history back. Now, the social studies whisperer really just kind of likes American history the best, so that's mostly what I have ideas for, and I have so many ideas in my brain, and I would love to help people, and I offer ideas for homeschooling families. Okay, I've reframed like my audience, so I'm trying to make sure I'm saying it right. So bear with me. It's like a day-to-day, like what I want to do is solid, like shared love of American history. It's the how that is going to look and exactly who that is changing daily. So pardon me when you watch my scope and I'm like, well, I love American history, that's it, and I have a bunch of ideas to share. The end. Maybe I should just do that. But anyways, enough about me. So, September 17th is Constitution Day, and that means it is the birthday of the Constitution, okay? And that is something that is obviously important to share with children because it is the whole foundation of America and how we have our government and our rules for the government. And so that's what Constitution Day is about. So I have tons of ideas, but my first tip for you would be to start with background knowledge for yourself, because like I said, I'm passionate about American history, and if you ask me to recite the Bill of Rights, I probably could not do it because I have to have a cheat sheet. So I have a site that can give you some background information, because once you get background information for yourself, you can do an activity with your kids that is going to be really fun. So maybe you're already an expert. I'm not. I'm gonna make this a 3-part thing because I did this really fun Bill of Rights thing with hand motions with my 5th grade students last year, and I also have some books to share, but I just moved into a new apartment last month, and y'all just don't even know how many books I have in my garage, and I can't find that book yet, so that's gonna be tomorrow. Okay, so this is not it. I have a link to this. Okay, my website is thesocialstudieswhisperer.com. And I reposted this yesterday. I am breaking up with Blogger, and I'm so over it, and I can't do like a featured post. So this is actually something I wrote last year, and I just updated it, and it's a huge database of mostly free activities for Constitution Day and links. And I have a freebie on there too, but that's not even about that. So if you go down to this part, boom, interactive Constitution, okay? And it's an app too, which is really cool. So what you can do is get your own background information about the Constitution here. And there's also a Bill of Rights site too, but really you have to have the Constitution before the Bill of Rights. So this goes into it's an interactive timeline, and it will give you all of the background information and all the amendments all listed right here. And then if you follow this link, you go to the homepage for the Constitution. So check that out, and it is kid-friendly, so it will be something that, like I said, just on your own, sneak and get some background information so that you remember the details about the Constitution, and then We the People, search We the People, and there's so many great little YouTube videos about the Constitution. So how I start an activity about the Constitution. Okay, so I taught 5th grade, but I had a lot of English language learners, so kind of the way I approached it would be really good for younger kids, I think, because I really did a good job like just kind of simplifying it. So I start a lesson like with a storytelling aspect, because I don't believe in textbooks other than paperweights or propping up computers. So I did not ever say, open up your textbook and blah, 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 blah. But I did always offer a reading passage or like an article that my students could keep in a notebook. And I want to do a scope about how homeschooling families can use interactive notebooks, because it's going to blow your mind. It's a great way to keep everything in one place. So what I would say is, okay, I would start a lesson, it's kind of like a discussion format, and say, did you guys know, and if you do the activities it depends on when you do it. Like, did you know today's Constitution Day, or Constitution Day is coming up? And then ask your kids if they know what the Constitution is. And if they say yes, that's awesome. But if they say they don't know, then you could maybe say, you know how we have rules for our family? Well, America had to have rules when it became a country. And so what a group of people got together, or a group of men, wasn't people, got together and came up with the rules for the country, and they took a long time talking about them, and they finally agreed on them on September 17th, 1787, I think. So that's kind of how I just approach it like that. Obviously, if your kids are older, I wouldn't go that route. So then what you can do is give them a little more background information about the Constitution, and the most important part is they can remember it starts with we the people, and you can talk about how America was set up to be a democracy, and you don't even have to get into all that, but talk about how it's the whole point was that the states were going to have their own rules, and then the nation was going to come together and have rules too. So I am a strong believer in relating content to your own life, because if you do that, then the kids, like, it clicks, and it becomes meaningful and relevant to them. Because let's face it, 1787, that was to them, that's ancient. To us, that's ancient. So find a way to connect it to your life, or something going on in the world, or something going on with your family especially. And the Constitution is perfect for rules, relating it to rules. And because I don't know about you, but my children, which I only have one still living at home, is needs little refreshers about the expectations in the household, right? So you can do is talk about how, like, the states are kind of like, you have your own little way of doing things, and then the family has one way of doing things too. And so maybe if you don't have your, like, household expectations, or even like your homeschooling rules, like, written down, then this might be a good time to have your family come up with, like, a set of rules. And if you or expectation, not really rules, just like, I call them expectations, because I say, I expect you to do this. Rules has like a negative connotation, because you always want to make them in a positive spin, because you don't want to constantly be focusing on the negative. You want to be focusing on, like, what you expect and the positive outcome, right? So hopefully it will kick in somehow. So you could say, let's come up with our own suggestions, or you could have and have your kids write it out. And you could even have them try, like, the feather and like writing it with feather, or you can dye paper, like, with tea and coffee. That's on Pinterest all over the place. So it's like a scroll, like parchment paper. That's really fun. Or you just get, like, hot water and tea and put it in a container, or coffee, which I don't like the smell of coffee, so I don't like this one, and just have the paper look like it's old fashioned. Well, that's great. I'm all about American history, so that's kind of my thing. So I'm sorry you feel that way. That's what's wrong with America today. People don't want to learn about history, and that's why we have the problems we have. So anywho, yeah, so have your kid come up with your own rules like that. You could do that. Or another twist, and this will be good for older kids, is if you had your own country, if you had your own country, what rules would you make up for your own country? And so that's always a fun one for older kids. And you would be surprised what kind of creative stuff they come up with. Or you could even say, if you already have rules established, like open up a dialogue about, ask them like what they think will be changed. Because I'm telling you, if kids have input into stuff, they're going to take ownership and they might be more likely to follow through with things, which not like it's not a magic recipe, just having expectations, trust me, because we're all human, right? So you could do it so relate it to your life. You could start that. That's just a baseline, just real surface level way to address the Constitution. And if you want to get more into detail with the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, I'm going to talk more about that tomorrow. So just to recap, like I said, I got a little distracted by the hater in the middle of it, which that's fine. I don't mind dealing with haters. I actually, they saw this ginger has snapped on haters before, and I say I've gone Game of Thrones because it irritates me when I'm like, when people have like a message they want to share and someone disrupts it. So, I mean, because no big deal. I'm just talking about, you know, the founding of America. No big deal, right? Of course it's a big deal. So just to recap, September 17th is Constitution Day, and I posted I reposted a blog post I wrote last year about the Constitution, and it is pretty much a database of different websites and links and activities that you can do for the Constitution. And if those aren't enough and you need more after my 3 days, then I've got a whole notebook and I've got a whole piggy bank brain of ideas. And like I said, just because Constitution Day is the 17th doesn't mean it's not something you can't talk about 6 months from now. Okay, I'm a strong believer in teachable moments, or going with the interest of your child. And in homeschooling, you get the option to do that, and I love that. You don't have to stick to a set curriculum and move on, because you never know. You might, if your kid really gets interested in you know, the founding of America, and they might be inspired to become, you know, what's that politician? They might get inspired to, you know, get into politics or get into government, and they might end up being, you know, working in that field. And if you let them explore more and tap into it, then you're going to encourage them. And so that's definitely an advantage. So just to recap, here is, if you go to my website, it's the socialstudieswhisperer.com. Of course, my computer's being slow, because naturally. Oh, I can't wait to change to, I'm breaking up with Blogger. I can't wait, because I wanted to make this a featured post, but it's not cooperating. So, the very top post is about Constitution Day, and the interactive timeline I just showed you is about right here in the middle, right here. But you could also Google Constitution interactive timeline. So you can just, this is one of those posts that you can kind of just like scroll through and take what you want. And also, in case you need more of an idea of like what kind of things I've written about, here they are. So most of them are involving social studies, but I did have to teach science last year. Well, I had to teach it before that, but so I definitely have some interesting, weird ideas for science, like song parodies. So that, and you won't be seeing anything else about that topic. So like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to, there's a contact bar. This is not my mailing list, so if you sign up for this, this will not automatically subscribe you to a mailing list. This is just like it comes straight to my email, and I will get back to you. But if you, side note, if you do want to sign up for it, that's it right there. But thank you for watching, and now I feel cheesy and salesy. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow with part 2 and more ideas. Bye-bye.